Yes, Cruz, long time no see, but I'm back. Today, I got a story to tell you. It's been a crazy adventure. I have been getting ready for a photo shoot. And yeah, it's been an experience. It's been a lot more of a learning curve than I would ever have thought, involving learning about nutrition, wet versus dry steroids, hydration and muscle glycogen, and also kidney function, unfortunately. So let's get to it. So the first thing you need to do if you're going to drop a bunch of weight is decrease the amount of calories that you are consuming. The law of thermodynamics dictates that you have to eat fewer calories than you use in order to lose weight. Yeah, that makes sense. So basically, start off this cut, I first of all recorded how many calories I was eating. I was eating around 4,000 to 4,500 calories per day, and that gave me a nice baseline of knowing where to start off from. So the first thing I did is I slashed 500 calories from my daily consumption. And this was pretty easy to do, to be honest with you. And it caused extreme rapid weight loss. My weight was just plummeting for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden I decided, hey, I've done some really heavy squats today. I deserve to eat more calories. So I ate maintenance for a week. And then the weight loss stagnated. It didn't go anywhere. And I had to further increase my calorie deficit from 500 calories to 700 to 1,200 calories per day, varying in between 700 deficit and 1,200 deficit. And this had the weight loss that I desired, but the effects were not as pronounced as they were before. And I had a lot of catching up to do after going into maintenance after only 2 weeks of dieting. So that's one thing I've learned right there, is you don't want to just go, oh, I'm a bit tired of this right now. I've done some heavy lifts. I deserve to eat more food. And then just cause the weight loss to stall out. That's how it happened for me. And this is my first time really tracking it so intensely. So I will let you know if this trend persists in the future. But just keeping on to a steady weight loss, a steady calorie deficit should incur a nice rapid weight loss. Get in, get out, get it done. Another thing I did with my nutrition is before I was eating around 200 grams of protein per day. Now, I've been listening to Dan, the bodybuilder from Thailand, listening to his steroids podcast. And yeah, he recommends that if you're serious about taking roids and gaining some sweet muscular gains, that you should be eating a minimum of 300 to maybe 400, 500 grams of protein per day. If you're on the roids, and this is bro science here, not scientific papers, this is some bro science knowledge bombs dropping on you. You got to increase it just to ensure that you're maximizing your nitrogen retention. You have to give your body the nitrogen that it needs to build the muscle. So I increased my protein to around 300 grams per day, and this seemed to maintain my lean mass better in the cut. It did a good job for me. And also protein, it's not a very fattening food. You've got the thermogenic effects of eating protein. It just calorie per calorie, it seems to put less kind of bad gains on you compared to the other macros. So yeah, increase the protein. The next thing we're going to touch on is drugs. So steroid drugs. So basically, I was taking 350 milligrams of testosterone per week as standard. I've been doing it for months and months, maybe like getting on for a year now since my bicep rupture. And I've been making slow but steady strength gains. And it's really weird. Over this period when I was cutting weight, I was like on a mission and my strength gains were going up too. I managed to pull a 320 kilo squat.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking easy actually. Yeah.
At my lowest body weight in a long time. And yeah, to facilitate this, it's helpful to have a few more anabolics on board because you're cutting weight, you need to perform in the gym, and to hold onto that muscle and even to build muscle, an increased amount of androgens is usually going to be beneficial. So I was taking 350 milligrams of testosterone. I added in 200 milligrams of EQ, equipoise, boldenone. Those are the names for it, per week as well. And then towards the end of the cut, the last week or so, I started adding in like 10, 20 milligrams of Anavar per day. Now, a few days before the photo shoot, in the last week before the photo shoot, I was getting some physio for a torn muscle in my quad. This is one of the problems of cutting calories and gaining strength at the same time. You're not giving your body the fuel it needs to repair. You can get an injury that way. So basically, I was getting some physio from my coach, and he said, dude, at your body fat level, you could get away with taking D-bol and just doing a brutal water cut at the end of the diet, and you would actually be okay. And I'm thinking, yeah, this could work. Let's try it out. So the shoot is on the Sunday. On the Wednesday, I started taking 30 milligrams of D-bol per day. D-bol is known to be a very watery steroid. See, I didn't know anything about wet steroids versus dry steroids because I was fat. Until you get down to a relatively lean kind of physique, the effects aren't going to show very well at all. It's like you're fat, you're a bit fatter. It doesn't really notice. You can't really notice the difference. But D-bol, it is known for causing massive water retention. Now, you get water retention in your muscles, that's great, but if you get the water underneath the skin, between the muscle and the skin, you can't see all the fine definition of the muscles, all the vascularity. It's all kind of glazed over in this kind of sheet of film of water that makes it kind of hard to see all of the results of the hard work you've been putting in the gym for the last few months and years. So that was a big mistake. A day before the 2 days before the photo shoot, I thought I need to stop this. So I replaced the D-bol with S4, injectable S4. This is a SARM. It's known to be a lean gainer. It's not very hair loss prone. All of these drugs, apart from the testosterone, aren't massive inducers of androgenic alopecia. Yeah, so though that's the reason why I didn't use any Masteron, I didn't use any Winstrol, I didn't use any Tren. I mean, I just don't want that side effect to be accelerated more than it has to. So I kept it to the more hair safe steroids. A lowish dose of testosterone, Anavar, which is really good for the hairline. Anavar is actually great for cutting. It gives you a very hard, dry physique once you drop the fat. It doesn't add lots of water underneath the skin and can give you a really great look. And then the D-bol, that may be very watery, lots of water under the skin, very low definition. And then finally the S4, which I should have not had the D-bol in the mix. I should have just added the S4 from that last week onwards, and I think I'd have got a far better result. Yeah, that's what I did with the drugs. Also, I was using 2 units of growth hormone in the morning for the majority of this cut, where when I was getting onto the last week, I started to increase it to 4, oh, not milligrams, IU. 4 IU. So that's 2 in the morning and 2 at night. You want to split up your growth hormone dose into 2. Have it when you've got an empty stomach, because in splitting up the dose, you are going to increase the lipolysis, the fat metabolism. Once you get beyond 1 or 2 international units of growth hormone, you don't really see any increase in the fat loss benefits of it. You can see an increase in your IGF-1. That's all good for making gains, but if you're looking to get a good physique from it, you want to split the doses up no more than 2 international units per dose. Also, the growth hormone increases water retention, but it gives you that pump, it gives you that vascular look, which is what we are going for. So that's what I do with the drugs. Now, when you're getting ready for the show, it's a nice little the show. I wasn't at a bodybuilding show. I was just doing a little private photo shoot, nothing crazy. So when you're getting ready for the shoot, you need to adjust your your diet leading up to it, and then also your water consumption. So basically, you're supposed to have low carbs. We're talking like, keto level carbohydrates for like 3 days to maybe a week beforehand. And what this does is you deplete, you use up the sugar in your blood, and then after that, you use up your glycogen stores. Glycogen is the fuel that the muscles have within them, and it's also stored in the liver. It's the fuel that your muscles use to do the work, to turn into ATP, into basically contract. So once the glycogen isn't, okay, you eat just carbs and fats for a period of time before the shoot. I only did this for 1 day. It had a really big effect. I'm surprised at how much weight you can drop in 1 day just by eliminating carbs. So the idea is that you eliminate the carbs, you use up the glycogen in your muscles, and you drop a bunch of weight, and you drop a lot of water, because with osmotic pressure, if you've got a load of salt over here in solution and a load of water with low salt in it, and there's a membrane in between, the salt is going to drag the water into it to equalize the osmotic pressure. And in doing so, it causes a lot of weight gain. So by dropping the carbs, using up all the glycogen in your liver and in your muscles, you stop holding on to all of this water that was contained, held onto by the osmotic pressure. And then basically you get a lot lighter. What then happens, so that was the day before the shoot. No, 2 days before the shoot, I dropped my carbs. I got to my lowest body weight ever, really, within recent history, 82.7 kilos. And I was pretty happy with that. Now, the brutal part comes the day before the photo shoot. On this day, what you're meant to do is eat a whole bunch of carbs. And what this does is it basically, your muscles are totally depleted of carbs. And then there is a process of super compensation, which overinflates your muscles with glycogen as you carb up. But what you have to do is avoid drinking loads of water on this day, which is brutal. So I ate loads of carbs. I did a mistake. I ate some protein as well. I ate 230 grams of protein that day. You don't need any protein on that day. You're done with the muscle building. This is the day before the event. You just want to look good on the day. It doesn't matter if you're not building muscle for 1 day. You just need to cut the water out and inflate your muscles. So I ate some protein, which is not good because you're very dehydrated, and the protein, it's going to mess with your kidneys. Your kidneys are very sensitive organs. There's high pressure filtration, and smashing a load of protein through it in this dehydrated state is not a good idea, as I found out. But anyway, getting back to the day before the shoot, I'm eating carbs. I'm minimizing my amount of water. In the morning, I had some coffee to kind of hydrate myself, but we all know that caffeine is it's a pretty good diuretic. So I had that in the morning, and then I reduced my water consumption and just carried on eating carbs throughout the afternoon. Now, I could see that the vascularity was starting to come out. Um, I got told that I showed my legs to someone. They said, "Oh, you look like Bane with all the veins sticking out." And it's like, yeah, this is looking sick now. This is working. The D-ball's working. It's making my muscles big, and the dropping the water is working, and the eating the carbs making me all vascular and big. It's all working. But by 8 p.m., I was losing it. I felt rough. My heart was going. My cardiovascular system was all out of whack. I was getting delirious. I couldn't remember anything that I was doing. I was getting into a bad mood for no reason, and it was just strange. I could feel that this was extremely unhealthy, and I kind of threw in the towel. I said, hey, I'm going to drink 2 liters of water because my body needs it right now. I can feel my body needs it. I don't want to wake up dead. I'm going to drink the water. I didn't wake up dead, but what I did wake up with is 2 kilos heavier than I was supposed to. That's 2 kilos of water. Yeah, a lot of it went into the muscles. It inflated the muscles, but a lot of it went underneath the skin. I still had the D-ball in my system. I only discontinued it one day beforehand. And so it didn't have time to kind of leave my system and leave me looking all vascular and grainy as I wanted. So I had that glazed over look. You couldn't see all the detail of the muscle fibers like you would have been able to if I wasn't on D-ball, like I was before I took the D-ball. You couldn't see all the veins in the back as clearly and everything. So yeah, don't take D-ball, guys. And yeah, don't over dehydrate yourself, and don't eat protein when you're dehydrated. You don't need it. It's not going to be good for your kidneys. It's not kind for your kidneys. Eating a load of carbs when you're dehydrated is not good, kind for your kidneys either. So don't throw fuel on the fire by adding in the protein to the mix. Okay, so I wake up on the morning of the shoot. I spent the previous day not drinking water and shaving my entire body and getting a spray tan. It was a quite nice experience that. I quite enjoyed getting the spray tan. You look a load more muscular with the hair off your body. I grew so much hair through taking testosterone. So much. I was covered in it. My back, my chest, my neck, my arms, everything was so hairy. So basically, I spent the day. I had a friend help me get rid of all of this excess fur all over my body, and I got the spray tan. My first ever spray tan. That was a pretty fun experience as well. You come out of it feeling pretty fresh and well groomed. So the day of the shoot, I wake up 2 kilos heavier than I'm supposed to. The water is underneath my skin from the D-ball, and the extra water that I had to drink the previous day in order to not die. It felt like I was dying. I probably wasn't, but I was definitely damaging my kidneys. And yeah, I'm glad that I drank that water. However, I woke up 2 kilos heavier than I was supposed to the morning of the shoot. Eek, this is a bad thing. This is not what you want. I didn't have the definition that I was looking for. I didn't have the vascularity that I was looking for. Everything was just covered by a layer of water. So, the morning of the shoot, no water. Instead, I drank whiskey. Yeah, I had a shot of whiskey in the morning, first thing. Got up nice and early. Had a shot of Lefroy whiskey. I keep it smoky. I keep it woody. That's how we do. You know what I'm saying? So I had the whiskey in the morning, and the diuretic effect of the alcohol was, helping me shed some of that water. I started shoveling sugar into my mouth, just angel cakes. I ate a whole packet of angel cakes and some Haribos and just junk food. I'm trying to get my body as full of glycogen, as vascular as possible, whilst trying to drop the water on the morning of the shoot. Then I drove there. I only had a double shot, okay? I'm still legal to drive. I drove to the shoot. I got there a half hour early and I'm driving and I'm thinking, I need to lose water weight. I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm driving a van. What I need to do is turn the heat onto full blast on a beautiful summer's morning, put the heat on full blast, put my hood up, and then like just sweat it out. I got into the car park, left my engine running, then I finished off the bottle of whiskey and sat there and ate more carbs, and waited for the photographer to arrive. So we're in the studio doing my warm up, and it was so hard doing cardio. Like it's basically cardio. It's like a circuit. You're doing 10 squats, 10 pull-ups, 10 dips, all in a row in a circuit, trying to get a pump on, and at the same time as kind of being a little bit drunk and super dehydrated. My cardiovascular system was going crazy. I was gassed by this like minimal lightweight exercise. I was feeling rough, but the photo shoot that happened afterwards was actually pretty fun. It was a blast. I really enjoyed it, had a good time, and we actually got some really good shots, even though I took the D-ball and my conditioning wasn't where I would have liked it to be or where it could have been if I hadn't have done so. During the shoot, I could feel when my dehydration levels got to being pretty extreme because my heart was like starting to just pump erratically when I wasn't really doing very much. And that was the feeling I was getting the day before when I was getting super delirious and dehydrated. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm getting dehydrated now. I'm looking lean. This is the one. It's all going to plan. I feel horrible. So yes, this is definitely working. So after the photo shoot, I got into my car and I started nailing water with rehydration salts in it, just trying to get myself back to a normal level of hydration, because you need to do that as soon as possible. It's very unhealthy being in this highly dehydrated state. It puts a lot of stress on the kidneys. But the weird thing is, I only started feeling the effects of the alcohol once I started drinking the water, which is so weird. It's like it was in my body, but it wasn't doing its thing until I started drinking water. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that was quite novel. Now, after the shoot, I'm a lot happier with my physique. I think I look a lot better. I'm getting a lot more compliments for people. They're saying like, dude, you look loads bigger. In fact, I'm a lot smaller. I've dropped a bunch of kilos. But they don't know this, and it has the illusion of making me look bigger. I look more muscular, more defined, more the shape of a muscular person instead of like a big fat powerlifter. Represent the fat powerlifter crew out there. So really, I would very much like to repeat this process again. I'm kind of addicted to it. Now I've gotten to this point of like, oh, that was sick, but I could do it better if I didn't take the D-ball, if I ate low carb for like 3 days to maybe 5 days before the shoot. I could look so much better. And I wouldn't even need to dehydrate myself so much. So I'm very tempted to keep the ball rolling and do it again. However, since doing the shoot, I instantly, once I rehydrated and I started urinating again, I noticed my urine was extremely foamy, which is a sign of kidney damage. It's showing that there's protein in the urine, and I've tested it. There's a very slight amount of protein in the urine. I will be talking about what I'm doing to combat that, how I've actually improved some of my symptoms in another video. But yeah, that was my experience of having the photo shoot. I'm very happy with the, I'm happy with many of the pictures that I got. It could have been better. I know I can do a better job. And I hope that you have learned something about calorie deficits, the type of macros you need to eat, the amount of protein, the difference between wet, dry steroids and how they can store water underneath the skin, and also about the process of water retention from eating carbs, the process of carb depletion, and then carbing back up without having any water to show that dry, hard, grainy, defined look that we're all going for. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you want to follow me, you can look at Dave Squats. Check out Dave Squats on Instagram. You can keep up to date with all of my lifting PRs. My 320 kilo squat. We're talking 3.83 times body weight. We're getting closer. We're getting closer to 4 times body weight, guys. And yeah. Also, well, that's the only place you can check me. Look at me there. Look at me on YouTube. Check out my YouTube shorts that are upcoming. And until next time, I will catch you later. Peace.